Go where you are celebrated, not tolerated. Go where you are celebrated, not tolerated. That is a quote that I've seen countless times on social media from various HBCU supporters and even HBCU accounts. Okay, but this past week, that phrase was used by a former HBCU coach, a brother who was coaching over there with the reigning Black National Champions, FAMU. Okay, that is Coach Devin Rispress. Hope I'm not mispronouncing that king's name. Okay, and he used that quote um, along with an image of Deion Sanders, kind of vibing with the crowd during his time at Jackson State University. And he used this, kind of as a celebratory tweet about him going out there and joining Deion Sanders' staff. Okay. And many in the HBCU community, particularly uh, people down with Jackson State University, did not like that post. Okay. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it in a real way. And I want to talk about it in a deeper way, a much deeper way. Okay. But before we do, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. I am your homeboy first, and this is the realest, most entertaining show in the game. Put it on something. Again, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that share button, put all your people on it. Also, fuck with our sponsor, the King McNeil Collection. For all of your fraternity or sorority needs, go to kingmcneil.com or download the app. On your first purchase, you will receive 20% off. That is the King McNeil Collection. Fuck with them. Tell them first sent you. All right. But let's get into this. And first off, let me say this is not a diss in any way to coach. All right, no diss whatsoever. All right, there's a lot of things in limbo right now with FAMU when it comes to their coaching staff, as I tape at least. Um, you know, Coach Willie Simmons, he moved on to Duke, and I ain't go at Willie Simmons about that. You feel me? I understood it, did a segment about that, did numerous segments about it. Y'all can check those out. I ain't finna go at this king for going out there with Prime. You know what I'm talking about? Just like I ain't go at Dallas, former head coach, for going out there with him. You feel me? All that shit is separate from the smoke that I got with Deion Sanders and his shit. All that shit is well documented how I feel about that. Okay. What I want to focus on though is the sentiment behind the post. I'm not even gonna touch the whole, having the damn Jackson State image, with Prime at Jack State. I want to focus on that phrase. Go where you are celebrated, not tolerated. That's what I want to focus on. I want to focus on that because to make that move to Colorado and say that is it's a little far-fetched. It really is. Okay. Because right now, as we speak in the United States of America, there is a war, an ideological war against black people. It really is. Particularly at universities. More specifically, at white universities. Okay? And I don't know if this king is aware of that. I don't know if a lot of brothers and sisters in the sports world are aware of that. Um, because their lives at a PWI are very different than my life was at a PWI. Okay. Those of y'all that fuck with me for real, y'all know that I did my undergraduate studies at the University of Southern Mississippi. Okay. A decision I don't regret. I needed that experience. That showed me real life. I needed that shit. Okay. As I've said before, grew up in an all black neighborhood shit, all black side of town shit in Canton, Mississippi. And it's still all black. Well, still black and Latino now. Okay. Went to school in a diverse high school at St. Joseph in Madison, but that still wasn't real, you feel me? Because of the socioeconomic status of most of my classmates. You feel me? Southern Miss was real. I got my eyes were open to a lot of shit down there. So I needed that. I needed that. But see, my experience there as just a scholar, I didn't play ball. I was a scholar and, I got into the entertainment business down there. You feel me? That was it. So basically, I was a scholar and I was rapping. You know what I'm saying? That was it. So my experience was very different from the football players and the basketball players. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm damn sure that my experience at a PWI is vastly different than somebody like, Shador or Shiloh, Travis Hunter, all them boys out there, or any other superstar athlete at any one of these PWIs. It's just different. It's just different. And so even with this brother being a coach and going out there, I'm sure they are being celebrated. I am sure that the football team at Colorado is being celebrated. Why? Because they're making them white folks a hell of a lot of money. Ain't nobody been talking about Colorado like this since I was a child. Not like this. Okay? I'm talking about early 90s. Okay? That's when motherfuckers were talking about that. Rashawn Salam and Cordell Stewart, those times. That folk were really just talking about Colorado like this for real, for real. Like they were a front of mind college football team. So they are vastly overjoyed, probably. You know what I'm talking about? Very happy. Very, very, very happy. So they probably are celebrating them because of that. Or maybe you may argue they're tolerating them because of that. You may argue that, yeah, they don't like Deion Sanders' bravado. He makes them a lot of money, so they tolerate it. They don't like Prime and Shador and all them rocking all them chains and shit like that. But hey, they make them a lot of money, so we'll tolerate it. You can argue these things. You feel me? You can make a sincere, a credible argument about these things. Because as I've said before, all you got to do is Google the shit. You can Google Colorado, and I'm doing it again right now. Google Colorado University Boulder and let's say racism. And you'll see all kind of shit pop up. All kind of shit. Including something from CPR News that says in a public letter, CU Boulder students and faculty allege hostile work environment for women of color professors. I've talked about this before. I've done a segment about this. Y'all can check that out. I did that segment when people were calling Colorado a HBCU or saying that it was Black America's team or something like that. Now I point out that they were Black America's team or are Black America's team, and that's the problem. Check out that segment. Okay. But see, these people's experiences are vastly different than the athletes. So again, I say maybe I gotta amend my statement where I said, yeah, I'm sure that the football players and football coaches and everybody, I'm sure they're being celebrated. Maybe I have to amend that and really just say that they're being tolerated. Because while you have this same shit going on with the scholars and professors, and while simultaneously when Prime and Shador and the new offensive lineman walk into the motherfucking basketball game, everybody, "Ah." Do you like them or do you just like what they can do for you? You feel me? What is it? Do you feel that same way about that English major who's black? Do you feel that same way about the chemistry major who's black? Do you feel that same way about the political science major who's black? Do you feel that way about DEI? Y'all been paying attention to that shit? That's the new buzz phrase now. You know what I'm talking about? Last year and year before last, everything was critical race theory. That's what these motherfuckers was on. They were attacking that. They're attacking that. Oh, it's so racist. So racist. They're teaching our kids racism. They're making our children feel uncomfortable in class. We have to ban critical race theory. Motherfuckers passing laws around this country. Banning books. Now they're attacking DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion programs that were implemented at these universities and some of these companies. They're attacking that shit now. Motherfuckers want that goddamn football team to be diverse. Hey, they want that motherfucker to be diverse. And I ain't just talking about Colorado, this is around the country. This is around the country. You just saw Harvard, arguably the most prestigious university in our country, if not the fucking world. These white supremacists launched a campaign to get rid of that woman. They dressed it up as she plagiarized some shit. But that was just what they used to get rid of her motherfucking ass. They did not want no goddamn black woman to be running Harvard. They viewed her as an affirmative action hire. You know what I'm talking about? And we just saw these motherfuckers got rid of that. And now you have, I want to say, Stephen Miller, a piece of shit white supremacist who was working with the Trump administration. This man going around the country suing folks based off of that. He looking for it where people are discriminating against white folks. There's a war right now, an ideological war against black people that's largely being fought at PWIs. I'm telling you. See, I'm a motherfucker that pays attention to sports. Yes, I do. But I also pay attention to this real shit as well. So when I see a brother tell me that he going to Colorado and Colorado is where you celebrate instead of being tolerated, it's just tough to argue that. Now, the brother came back and said that he was not trying to diss Jackson State or maybe even HBCUs as a whole. Can't remember that part. But he did say we do have to clean up some things. Now, you can argue that there are some things that need to be cleaned up. Like if you look at what's going on with the FAMU situation, with the coaching situation, all that kind of stuff. All right. Some may look at that and say, okay, some things need to be cleaned up with how we're doing this. And that's fair. That's fair. However, seems like Colorado need to clean some shit up too. If you have scholars and professors saying that this shit is a hostile work environment, If you say you're having scholars and professors say that this fucking place is racist, they need to clean something up too. And I don't see any of these motherfuckers from these football teams or these basketball teams who have the juice. The most powerful black people on these damn campuses are the black athletes. And I don't see them saying these folks need to clean this shit up. It's there. And I've lived it. I remember distinctly when I was at Southern Miss and we were trying to work on a petition to get a brother by the name of Clyde Kennard's name cleared. Now, if you don't know who Clyde Kennard is, Clyde Kennard was a black man who tried to integrate the University of Southern Mississippi. White supremacists jammed him up on bullshit charge. I want to say of stealing like chicken feed or some bullshit. His crime was trying to go to Southern Miss. Long story short, they imprisoned him, and he got very sick in prison and either died in prison or they let him out too late, and he died. Something to that effect. Okay. But Clyde Kennard was a fucking hero. Okay. And they shitted on him. Now he has a building on campus named after him, but they shitted on him. Okay. So we were trying to, work on a petition down there, me and some other student activists. We were going around trying to get folks to sign this petition to send to Haley Barbour, the then governor of the state of Mississippi, to get Clyde Kennard a pardon. And I remember being on the yard and going to some of the football players and shit like that and trying to get them to sign. They wasn't giving a fuck about that shit. Now, I'm not saying some football players did not sign it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying my experience, motherfuckers didn't sign. They motherfuckers couldn't care less. Because that was not their experience at that school with white people. When they ran them motherfucking asses on that field, it was mostly white folks in the stand and packing what we call the rock and clapping for them. M.M. Roberts Stadium. They were clapping for them. You feel me? At DPWI, these black jocks, they can go to the frat parties and be welcoming that bitch. You feel me? They be fucking these white girls. And you know a good and hell well, a lot of folks don't like that. But they tolerate it. Why? Because they entertain them and ultimately they make them a lot of money. The football team and these basketball teams pay for all the other scholarships on campus. The soccer team, the volleyball team, the bowling team, you name the motherfucking team, it be the teams that mainly made up of black people that pay for everybody else to go to school free, athletically. It be the basketball team and the football team, mainly that the main billboard for the university. You feel me? It is. So they tolerate a lot of shit from the black athlete that they don't tolerate from nobody else. So we got to get to the point now where we stop confusing being celebrated and tolerated. You know what I'm saying? Some of that shit that these motherfuckers do at these schools, they're doing because they know they got to do that shit to get your motherfucking ass there. I was just reading an article about Tommy Tuberville's bitch ass. The senator from Alabama. And that motherfucker been showing his hand for real since he been a senator, doing a lot of fuck shit. You know what I'm saying? And in this article, it was talking about his time at Ole Miss and how he went to the folks and told them about how the folks needed to stop waving the Confederate flag at the games because it was hurting recruiting. Now, clearly, based on his actions as a senator, he's a Confederate sympathizer. He was just mad at the Biden administration for trying to weed out white supremacists in the nation's military. He was like, he don't call them white nationalists or white supremacists. He just calls them Americans. So Who's to say he ain't no motherfucking Confederate sympathizer? You think he really gave a fuck about them folk waving that Confederate flag at the game? He gave a fuck about I'm not able to get the elite black boys to come play for me. That's what he cared about. You know what I'm saying? So again, we gotta look at this shit and really critique and assess and evaluate and say to ourselves, are we truly being celebrated? Or are we being tolerated? Because of what our label. That's what you provide. You're providing a label. You're playing ball at any school. Jack State, FAMU, Grambling, Duke, North Carolina, Alabama, Louisiana State. You provide a label. Okay? And at some of these big ass PWIs, you're getting paid handsomely through boosters to provide that label. But I would caution you. Now, I'm not saying about everybody, okay? Because we have progressed a lot. Don't want to lose sight of the fact that we have progressed as a nation. I do not want to shortchange our elders and ancestors, as I talked about last week, okay? But for many of these motherfuckers, they just tolerating your motherfucking ass at these institutions because of what you provide to them. And I have plenty of facts to back that up. I just told you about how motherfuckers across the country are on this DEI kick right now, across the country, celebrating the end of affirmative action and motherfuckers blaming black people for their babies not getting into school and shit. So they're so happy that affirmative action was gone. And this ain't starting now. When Obama was in office, that was one of the digs at him and Michelle Obama. That the only reason they got into Ivy Leagues was because of affirmative action and shit. This ain't nothing new to be 100. It's not. And this is 2024. It's an election year. And they got Donald John Trump motherfucking ass. Who finna win the Republican nomination again? Pay attention to his rhetoric and his followers' rhetoric. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the same motherfuckers who love him be so-called celebrating the black athlete at these games. Ain't that a bitch? Crazy, ain't it? At a place like Alabama, the same folks that'll go crazy if they saw Julio Jones in Walmart be the same folks up here donating to Trump. Wild how that works. Wild how that works. How do they do that? How do they compartmentalize that? How you sit up here and support someone politically who whose whole brand goes against folks you claim you love, these athletes. They're your heroes. Some wild shit. But a lot of folks do that. Okay? So all y'all youngins out there that may be watching this, I want you to pay attention to that, man. Don't let these motherfuckers fool you, man. You feel me? If you're gonna go there and play for them, do that, get your money, get your degree, get on down. All right? But don't goddamn get it twisted that these motherfuckers love you more than your own people do. The data does not show that. What's going on in this country right now does not show that. The polling data does not show that when it comes to the elections. Doesn't show that. The anti-DEI stances does not show that. The anti-critical race theory shit does not show that. The banning of black history in many of these places does not show that. So keep it real with yourself and realize that many of those folks who are clapping for you are simply tolerating you because you can score a touchdown. Put it on something.
Please subscribe to my daddy's YouTube channel because the more subscribers he gets, the more attractive he looks to sponsors. The more attractive he looks to sponsors, the more money he can make. And the more money he can make, the more money he can spend on me.